north side of San Antonio is the place that I would say the most people tend to focus on, but a lot of people overlook the other sides of San Antonio for the more expensive, more popular north side. So today I want to walk you through each of the four sides of San Antonio: the north side, east side, south side, and the west side. They're all different price points, different lifestyles, and just completely different vibes. And it's going to be a big deep dive into each of these different areas. And although you can break them down into even smaller, more minute areas, these are kind of the big picture areas that most people tend to gravitate towards when they're looking at where to move in San Antonio. So it might seem pretty obvious when you look at the map, but in general, this is how I'm breaking down this video. So the north side, if we look at where Helotes is, you got Bandera Road going east towards, Stone Oak, Chavano Park, the Thousand Oaks area, all the way out to 35 basically. So that's kind of that whole north side pie shape, if you will. And then east side, go south from there, go down to 87, kind of that general area going out towards Lavernia. South side, take it further around, go out to about, US 90, 35 that goes south down towards Laredo and everything. And then the west side is kind of everything. Obviously on the west side, especially talking about the Alamo Ranch area, Highway 90 up again to Helotes. So that's kind of the general area if we're looking at the big pie shapes here. Downtown area, of course, is right in the middle. And while there is some housing options down there, the majority of the families that are looking at moving here tend to focus on kind of the outer edges where the majority of these neighborhoods are located. Starting on the north side, as you drive north, let's start from downtown, right? If you drive north through 281 and you're starting to head towards, get past, the airport, you start to get into that Hollywood Park area. You kind of start to see a little bit more trees. The hills start to roll a little bit more. You then pass 1604, you get up into the Stone Oak area, and you start to really see the hills come alive. That's where the hill country truly starts, is up on that north side of San Antonio. And the same thing happens when you're out on I-10. As you go from downtown up I-10, you can kind of start to see a little more topography start to take place. As you get past 1604, just on the outer edges of 1604, you start to see those hills in the distance, and that really kind of opens up to what makes San Antonio extremely popular, especially on that north side, and that is the Texas Hill Country. When it comes to the staples of the north side, of course, you have the airport. So up on that kind of northeast section, right off of 281, so kind of right in the heart of this north side really is where the San Antonio International Airport is. So being close proximity to the airport is a big deal for a lot of people, especially if you travel a lot for work. And in addition to the airport, you also have the South Texas Medical Center. The medical center is a huge piece of San Antonio. Our medical, in addition to our military, is one of our top industries, and so brings in a ton of people. The west side is an option, but looking up on the north side, because it is right there, very close to I-10, being further up that I-10 corridor tends to make a lot of people focus on that area when they are living in and working in that medical center area. And same thing for the North Central. If you're looking at Chavano Park, that's very close by to that area too. Lots of conversations that happen around school districts, of course, too. So in that north side area, you've got Northside ISD, which serves mostly that northwest area, and then also serves that far west side, which we'll mention in a minute. But then you also have Northeast ISD, which serves up there in that Stone Oak area, and then kind of in that Thousand Oaks, northeast corner of San Antonio outside the airport area. And then you've also got, of course, some of the ones that are further south. You've got Alamo Heights ISD, which ranks up there in the highest ranked school districts in the entire state of Texas. Now, if we're being honest, a lot of people don't call me talking about Chavano Park, Hollywood Park. Those are kind of the higher end areas. Now, that at the same time, there is a very big market for that. And I've had several people that have bought homes in that area. So but the Stone Oak area itself is one that I probably get, it's up there with places like Bernie and New Braunfels as far as places that, people call our team the most about, because Stone Oak itself is a completely unique neighborhood. It is a neighborhood itself, but it's a bigger area in general. It's not just a kind of Stone Oak proper area that's there east of, Blanco Road area and in between 281 and Blanco and just north of 1604. That kind of entire area, even going east of 281 over into that Bulverde Village, Encino Park area. But this area as a whole, you have lots of hills, you have lots of gated communities, you have lots of very different communities in and around there with, price ranges from $300,000 all the way up to multi-million-dollar homes on some of these acreage estates in here. You've got Sonterra, which is a gated, guarded community, more of, got some of that garden home style for those that are looking at a retiring spot on a golf course, really nice golf course. And then you've just got all kinds of other stuff, including its own kind of general medical park too. It's kind of its own city all in one, where you don't ever really have to leave Stone Oak, and you're really easy access to the airport from there. Just a little ways north of Stone Oak, you do have Timberwood Park, which kind of starts to get into the Comal ISD range of things. But Comal ISD is really out on the suburbs. You've got Timberwood Park that feeds into the Piper High School and other schools right there off of Borgfelds, and that's kind of the upper edge of San Antonio. Now out west, over off of I-10, you have some of the more luxury neighborhoods in all of San Antonio, the places that a lot of people will recognize, such as the Dominion. You've got Fair Oaks Ranch going further up towards Bernie. Now this is probably the biggest area that we're going to talk about, right? But the traffic is another thing that a lot of people always have questions about. Now the 1604 North area, going from Bandera Road all the way over to 35, it can be pretty hectic, especially as you get in between 281 and I-10, but they're doing a lot of construction now to help expand that up. I-10 going from 1604 up to Bernie had the same kind of similar expansion not too long ago, and it's a very similar thing. Now you get a lot of traffic right there at 1604 and I-10, but as you get further south, of course, the more traffic you see. So as you get more down towards 410, especially on 410 has traffic all the time, just because it's right there in the middle of the city, and you got just most people getting on and off, and so it really kind of slows things down in rush hour. But those main big highways, I-10, 281, 1604, tend to not be as bad. Now 35 on the other hand is a completely different story. 35 is always rough. Again, they're doing a lot of expansion over there too, so we're hoping that the traffic over there subsides a little bit going out towards New Braunfels, and in that kind of Church Cibolo, Converse area too. Now when you're talking about the entertainment on the north side, you're looking at kind of the main things, which is really that northwest corner of 1604 and I-10, where you have the Rim and the shops at La Cantera, which also includes Fiesta Texas. You got the Rocket La Cantera as well. So those are kind of the main hubs there, and there's tons, especially at the Rim, there's tons of entertainment things out there, especially when you look at Andretti Carpeting Game, Top Golf, all the things, Bass Pro Shops, the Palladium, IMAX. I mean, you've got tons of stuff going up on that northwest side as far as entertainment goes. Now, before we get onto the east side, if you have any desire of finding out more about all these specific areas and figuring out exactly what it is and where it is that you want to focus your move on, reach out to myself and my team. My name is Michael McCall, run the Life and SATX Home Group. We are a small group of individuals here that just absolutely love helping people just like you move here to San Antonio and helping you, really find exactly where your next home is going to be here. There's a wide variety of reasons that people move here to San Antonio, and whether you're looking at moving here in 2 days or 2 years, we want to be that resource for you. So feel free to call, text, or email anytime, days, nights, or weekends, guys. We would love to get on a call with you guys, and you can schedule a call with us, Zoom call or phone call. Down in that description below, there's a link. It's called Calendly link, and that goes to our calendar. You plug in a time that works best for you, and one of the agents on our team will talk with you guys and really walk you through this whole process of what San Antonio is really like and where it's best for you. Now we're going to kind of go clockwise on this, so we're going to go to the east side next. So the east side, again, 35 and south of there, you're looking at like Church Cibolo area, Converse. More in town, you're looking at places like Wood Lake, you're looking at Windcrest. What is it about this area that makes it really different? Well, there's not a whole lot, but the biggest thing is Randolph Air Force Base. You also have Fort Sam Houston if you go more into downtown, but it is kind of on that east side of downtown. Now, it is more flat out there, especially as you get on the outskirts of town, so you have a lot more construction, specifically looking at like the Converse area. Church Cibolo is kind of built out a little bit. You go out to Converse at like 1604 and I-10, and you have a massive amount of new construction going up. You've got new HEB going up on the corner of 1604 and I-10. You've got commercial development going up everywhere. I mean, you've got neighborhood after neighborhood after neighborhood that are being built on that side of town. What probably makes this area stand out more than a lot of others is the affordability. So especially if you look at the suburb areas, Church Cibolo, Universal City, even looking at like Garden Ridge is more of a luxury area up on that northeast side, even though it's on that north side of 35, so it would kind of fall within that north side of town, but it's really on the east side. The affordability here is incredible, right? That's what a lot of people really are drawn to over here. You look at school districts, obviously school districts are a huge factor for a lot of people that are moving here. Church Cibolo, Universal City ISD, of course, covers that area, and then you've got Judson ISD that covers a majority of kind of the rest of it. And then as you get a little further south, kind of getting south of I-10, you start to get into the East Central School District, which is a massive school district and covers a lot of that southeast, more rural area of San Antonio. Now, as you get more towards the inner east side of San Antonio, east of downtown, you're looking at Dignity Hill, Government Hill area, kind of that area getting towards like the Freeman Coliseum and Frost Bank Center. And one thing to note too is that there is some talks of a massive redevelopment around the Freeman Coliseum. I know they just recently passed that proposition back in November of 2025. The San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo is basically going to be getting a big amount of funding to redo that Freeman Coliseum, Frost Bank Center area into a full-time rodeo grounds, right? And now I don't know what that entails. I don't know the specifics of exactly how that's going to work. But outside of that, there is discussions of developing the areas around it for additional mixed use, commercial development, parks, restaurants, additional entertainment venues. I don't know what that means, and I know that I've seen some things that the CEO of the San Antonio Stock Show and Rodeo has kind of pushed back against that development. So that all remains to be seen of where that's going to play out, but it is worth noting that those discussions are happening. When it comes to traffic, of course, you've got 35 that goes south. I already mentioned that. It's not fun. Going 35 from the north side down into downtown is always challenging. That 410 area between 35 and, say, I-10 and going down towards 87 can be tricky, especially at that 35 intersection, but also at that I-10 intersection as well. And then 1604 as you go from I-10 up to 35. That's where Randolph Air Force Base is. There's lots of streetlights, lots of neighborhoods. So as you're driving through there, it can get backed up pretty bad. Like it may take you, about 20 to 30 minutes to get from 10 to 35 just in that one little area if you're going at it at the worst times of rush hour. There's a lot of growth potential out there on that east side, especially looking at that Converse area. I would say that's one of the fastest growing areas, the fastest developing areas of San Antonio right now. So you're going to see a lot of changes happen there over the next few years. Now, as you get to other areas that are going to see a lot more growth and development, let's go down to the south side. One unique thing about the south side is that most people, when they're driving through there, don't realize that they are driving through the only UNESCO World Heritage Site in the entire state of Texas. And that is, of course, the San Antonio Missions. 4 of the 5 San Antonio missions that were built back in the 1700s are strung along the San Antonio River, and 4 of those, again, are located on the south side of San Antonio. You've actually got the Mission Hike and Bike Trail that connects all 4 of those missions along the San Antonio River, so it makes for a really nice park environment for those of you guys that do want to have that kind of hike and bike ability, but be kind of close to town. You've got a lot more history on this side of town. You've got a lot more, neighborhoods that have been here for, decades, and couple areas that have homes that have been there for centuries, right? So you've got a lot of variety when it comes to the history, and then you've also got the new construction that's starting to pop up now, which historically in the last couple decades, where everything has gone on the north side or even on the west side, south side has been kind of neglected in that department, but it's starting to change quite a bit. Let's start with some of the commercial development that's around Brooks City Base. So Brooks City Base actually used to be another Air Force base in San Antonio. It's over 1,300 acres and has actually been developed into a kind of live, work, play, type of environment with tons and tons of different developments happening all throughout it. Kind of due south of San Antonio, on that south central corner, is Texas A&M San Antonio, and this is kind of the central hub of probably what's going to be, in my opinion, the biggest development in this area, and for good reason. I mean, Texas A&M San Antonio has huge visions. They want to be as big or bigger than UTSA, which is already a very large presence up on that northwest side of San Antonio, which I just realized I didn't mention. So UTSA, again, kind of going back to that north side, UTSA is located up on that northwest side of San Antonio. So we'll take a little detour there just as I mentioned that. Don't know how I missed that a minute ago, but let's go back to the task at hand with the south side. A&M San Antonio is a really beautiful site. Again, it's kind of centered around the architecture of the heritage of the area, the historical heritage of San Antonio. That's really what they're designing a lot of this, campus around. You've got Vita, which is a huge, very popular neighborhood being built right there with, homes from Lennar, which is the most, the cheapest, most affordable builder in San Antonio, to Highland Homes, which is one of the higher end, builders in all of San Antonio. I mean, and everything in between with Sitterly and, I think that Perry actually is building some there too. Yeah, that's right. Perry Homes is building in Vita. And then you've also got the commercial developments going on around there. Of course, you've got the Toyota plant that is just outside of that A&M San Antonio area. You've also got the JCB manufacturing facility, which is going to be a multi-100,000 square foot facility, bringing thousands of jobs to this area. And also have the new University Hospital being built there, which is another thing that is huge for that area, having a true staple healthcare facility, which is something that this area has desperately needed for a long time. As we kind of circle around to that west side, of course, you're going to hit Lackland Air Force Base, which is kind of on that southwest corner of San Antonio, right there off of 90. Lackland, of course, is the staple of the Joint Base San Antonio military bases. It is the largest military base. It is the largest Air Force base in the country. Now, when it comes to the school districts, what I will say is that the school districts on the south side, and one of the reasons it may not have been as much development is because, a lot of the people, again, are looking at the high-rated school districts. So as you look at the school districts of the south side, you have places like, East Central that kind of touches that south side a little bit. You've got Southside ISD, Southwest ISD, Harlandale ISD. These are not the highest rated school districts. If you look at any of the rating sites, you can see what I'm talking about. But again, do your own research and kind of see what you really want to do. But I think what has really driven a lot more of the growth in these areas too is that, as people are considering other options, homeschooling, for example, it's huge. There's a huge growing homeschool population all throughout San Antonio, and even some of the better school district areas such as New Braunfels or Bernie. I know of many people that are moving to these areas and are still electing to homeschool their children, and there is a huge presence and communities that have co-op programs, field trips, all the things that you would get with public school within kind of individual homeschool groups, if you could tell. Now, when it comes to your budget, just like on that east side, south side is very affordable. You have, especially if you're looking at some of these older homes, right, and more in the city, you can get into some very affordable areas. And there's some pockets too where there was empty lots again that builders are building on, and so you can get new construction homes in these areas again for way cheaper than you can get in some of these what I would consider cookie cutter tract home communities. With more true custom builders. So just kind of obviously make sure you do all your research, get your inspections done. Those are kind of very important to talk with your real estate agent or, us at the Life and SATX Home Group about making sure that all that stuff is taken care of. But looking at these new construction neighborhoods such as Vida, these are, very popular spots where your price points range from $200,000 all the way up to $600,000-$700,000 as well. So you have a lot of variety, but for the most part, everything on the south side you can get in there for, in that $200,000 to $300,000 range very easily. Now let's finish up by heading over to the west side. Again, one of the historically most developed areas in all of San Antonio. And as you drive through there, you see it. There are neighborhoods everywhere. There's commercial development everywhere. There are schools everywhere. So it is a very suburban area, okay? As you're on the outskirts of 1604, that was what I would consider the outskirts of San Antonio. Now this stretches far beyond 1604 on that west side because of the amount of neighborhoods and the amount of development that is happening out there. But getting all the way out to 211, Castroville, and those areas, and everything in between there in 1604, 90, and then Highway 16 up in Helotes, that's kind of your west side of San Antonio. And as you get further, let me take that back. Far west side of San Antonio. You get more inside the loop, inside Loop 1604. That's where you get into Lackland Air Force Base. You've got Leon Valley. You've also got Woodlawn Lake on the inner east side, just west of downtown, or on the inner west side, just west of downtown. You've also got Prospect Hill. So you've got a very wide variety of different types of homes, especially as you go further in, okay? Alamo Ranch was kind of the starting point for this far west side development. Big neighborhoods, but you also got commercial development, okay? The biggest challenge is that you're gonna find is that the further out on the west side you live, the further out far west you live anyways, the more difficult it's gonna be to get in. That's the big thing about the traffic that I'll mention, especially going down like Culebra and Potranco, Gulm Road even too. It's really challenging because you have so many people driving on these smaller, more neighborhood roads with stoplights. And it makes things very challenging, especially with school traffic. Again, there's schools scattered all throughout there. It's pretty much all north side ISD out there with a little bit of Southwest ISD and then Edgewood ISD kind of further on the inner west side. But overall, the traffic is probably one of the things that drives the most people away from that area because you have a lot of neighborhoods, and I can't even begin to list all of them. Some of the fastest selling and largest selling neighborhoods in all of San Antonio are located out on this far west side. You look at Riverstone at West Point, which is I think D.R. Horton's largest community in the entire country. You've got places like Davis Ranch up there by Government Canyon State Park, which is a huge state park, which has got tons and tons of I think tens of thousands of acres potentially out there to explore, including if you get far enough in there, there's a place where you can find fossilized dinosaur tracks, which is pretty cool. Another school district that is very prevalent out here, especially as you get further out far west, is Medina Valley ISD, which is a very highly rated district that covers pretty much that whole Castroville area and kind of coming in on the far outer reaches of San Antonio on that far west side. So that is another school district to pay attention to. And when it comes to newest communities, Briggs Ranch, which is a really nice golf course, got some multi-million-dollar homes in there, as well as some smaller, $400,000 or $500,000 homes, is just opened a new section that they're building with Chesmar, Highland. So if you're considering new construction too, again, we do a lot of new construction, guys. It's one of our specialties. We have a lot of construction background between myself and everybody on our team. So if you are curious kind of how we can help you be your agent on new construction homes, let's talk about that a little bit as well, and we kind of walk you through that process, whether you're building from the ground up, even with a custom builder, or buying a spec home. It's something that, I think I would say probably 60 to 70% of our deals that we help clients with are buying new construction homes, okay? But again, even if it's just you need some advice on kind of where to go with that, again, we're not here to pressure you guys in any way, shape, or form. We just want to be a resource to you guys. There's a lot to go into picking where you're going to live at in San Antonio, and so hopefully this video was a good breakdown and kind of dissecting some of these different areas and what each one has going for it. But again, I would love for you guys to reach out if you have any questions whatsoever. Again, my name is Michael McCall. I've lived in San Antonio my entire life. I absolutely love it here. Would love to be that resource for you guys. And again, my team is in the same boat. We have all lived here for decades, and we know this area like the back of our hand, and want to be that person that can just guide you through this process and hold your hand and be the agent that you need us to be for you with your move. So feel free to reach out to us at any point in time. Again, my information and our information is all down in the description below. And if you want to learn even more about the developments coming to San Antonio, there's over 15 billion in developments that have started, guys, and this video right here talks all about that. So until the next one, guys, we'll see you there.